As you can see, I am not John, but today I'm going to be taking you through SG Carmart's latest review, the Renault Arkana 1.6 Fastback E-Tech Hybrid. Hey, John.
Huh?
Now, starting off from the front, you get these C-shaped headlights that are rather aggressive and look good on the coupe SUV. You can also find them on Renault's Megane. And moving down, you do get two-tone black and red that also extends to the roofline as well as the mirror covers. Now, at the side, you get functional air vents directing air to the brakes, as well as a plastic trim, because after all, it is a sports utility vehicle. You don't want mud and dirt sticking to the paintwork, so this helps protect it. At the side, the plastic trims do extend over the wheel arches, the fenders, and you also get these very hefty side steps because it is a sports utility vehicle, but it's something that you might not find on other SUVs anymore. Over by the rear door, you can see that the roofline starts to slope to the rear because it is a coupe. The Renault Arkana is priced at $174,999. The 1.6-litre hybrid engine produces 141 brake horsepower and 148 Nm of torque. The 6-speed automatic dog-box transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.8 seconds. For more details on the Renault Arkana or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Now, where the sloping roofline ends at the boot, you do get a boot lip, spoiler, and also the lights here, you get a very nice loop shape that goes also on the Megane. Now, opening up, because of its coupe SUV shape, you do get a very big boot, 480 litres. As you can see, it easily passes the anti-trolley length test as well as the luggage test. Now, if that's not enough space, you can always take these out, knock down the seats from the rear or from the front for up to 2 meters of length inside the boot. Now, I'm in the rear seats of the Arkana and I am 1.75 meters tall. As you can see, the leg space isn't horrible. And the headspace is not too bad, especially considering that it's a coupe with a sloping roofline. Now in the middle, you do get rear passenger aircon as well as charging points. What looks like a 12-volt but isn't actually. You do get netting on the front driver's seat as well as the front passenger seat for all your barang-barang. And then in the middle, you do get an armrest, so it's comfortable, and there are spaces for your rock glass so you can sip on whiskey while your chauffeur drives you around. And you also find ISOFIX points here, but they are plastic covers, unlike the usual cushioned ones that you might find. So you have to be careful, if not you're gonna misplace these. Now onto the front. Now inside the cockpit, you get a leather steering wheel with your cruise control settings as well as your call settings. But strangely enough, your media controls are not on the steering wheel. They come as a separate stock that usually on Continental cars you might find more for the cruise control settings. There's a dial for you to select the next song and control the volume. Now, for the instrument cluster, it is a 10.25-inch display, fully digital, but I have to say it is one of the higher def displays that I've seen. In the middle is your infotainment unit. The size is pretty big, it's kind of like an iPad mini. You get to select things like MySense or MultiSense, which is where you can control your drive mode, as well as things like how stiff the steering is, or your ambient lighting. Now, under the infotainment display unit, you get your car controls like hazard lights, lock system, automatic parking, and you also get your aircon control, which is kind of reminiscent of a Suzuki Swift or a Swift Sport, but it is the best format that you want, a digital display with an analog control, so you never have to fumble around while you're driving, wondering whether or not you hit the correct setting. Underneath that is your charging points. You get a 12-volt charger, 2 USB ports, as well as an aux port. Now, it does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but it is wired and not wireless, so you do have to plug it in. But you also get a wireless charger, so you can just throw your phone in and then drive off. Now for the gear shift, you get a standard automatic gear shift. Now in the gear shift, you don't get to shift gears manually. You also don't get pedal shifters, which kind of feels like a waste of a dog box, because with a dog box, you get really quick gear changes and you kind of want to make use of that, especially chasing up and down the road. Moving down the center console, you get a key card holder. Another neat function of this Renault is this key card. So while it functions like a key fob, it actually doesn't feel like a key fob, much like a card. And when you're approaching the car, you never have to unlock or lock the car because it has welcome and walk away locking. So that means that when you approach the car with the key card inside your pocket, it automatically unlocks and unfolds the mirror as well as lights up when it's dark. Now, when you walk away from the car, it automatically locks once it senses that the key is no longer in the vicinity of the car. And another thing that some people might find useful is automatic parking. So hit this button and then you can take a look at the kind of automatic parking that the Arkana can do for you. So it can be parallel parking, diagonal parking, vertical parking. And once you hit that, if you're nearby, from its all-around sensors, it senses where there's a car and where there's an available space, it will park itself. And yeah, you also get two rather shallow cup holders and a raised armrest for your elbow. Now, the material in the cockpit, it's a kind of mix between like leather as well as some hard plastic, but with the hard plastic, they do put in the effort to give it a pattern to kind of make it blend in more. And you also get Bose sound systems. Now, with a Bose sound system in the upper trim, you get the best audio experience. For audiophiles, this is the trim that you want to settle for. Now, let's go for a drive and see how it feels. Right now we are outside. We're taking the Renault Arkana 1.6 for a drive. It is a 1.6 litre hybrid. So at the low end, it uses its E-Tech dual motors for very easing off. Lots of power, lots of torque at the start, and almost silent. Listen to that. And then when you floor it, the power comes instantly. And of course, mid-end and high-end, the petrol engine kicks in and you get slightly more power and of course a lot more noise. Now, in terms of comfort, this is a plenty comfortable daily driver. You wouldn't be wrong in using this to ferry around your family, and even for a coupe SUV, there is plenty of space and it doesn't roll so much even though it is an SUV. So absorbing humps, going around corners, this is something that's really pleasant to drive in. It's a great daily driver. It is a hybrid, so for its weight and for its size, it is getting, and mind you, during test drive, we're driving the thing pretty hard because we kind of want to see how it holds up, and this thing has been getting about 15 to 16 kilometers per litre, which is not far off from its paper value of 20 kilometers per litre. In terms of noise, you are pretty far insulated from the ground, pretty high up, and you don't really hear so much of the noise outside. At mid and high end, you'll hear a lot more of the engine noise coming through to the cabin, but at low end, it is almost like an electric, and because of its 6-speed automatic dock, you might mistake it for a CVT and you wouldn't be faulted for that. Now, if you were to ask me whether this car is a will buy, won't buy, or go try, I have to say that this car is a strong go try, because while it may not be the most car for that amount of money, it has a very unique appeal in its design. It is a very stylish coupe SUV that quite frankly doesn't feel in this class. And to be honest, it's not something that you usually see out of French car makers. Of course, on top of that, you still have its E-Tech hybrid system, which gives you quite a lot of power. This amount of power at the low end, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to use and play with it. Especially in the hybrid system, you know that a lot of it is in the battery power, so you're not actually burning so much petrol, on top of giving you, up to Renault claims, 20 kilometers per litre. While this car may not have the strongest acceleration from 0 to 100 in terms of the number of seconds it takes to get there. Moving off from stoplights, overtaking, it's so easy to just tap into that amount of power because of its dual motor system in the hybrid. And to me, that's a lot of fun that some of the other hybrids just may not have. This has been our review of the Renault Arkana 1.6 Fastback Hybrid. If you like this video, please drop us a like. Don't forget to share and subscribe, as well as turn on the bell notifications on your subscription so you get notified every time we drop a new video. Now, you can also follow us on TikTok. And if there are any other cars that you'd like to see us try, do leave it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.